So here's how I use AI to create Facebook ads for clothing brands in minutes, not hours. No designer, no Canva chaos, just high converting creatives that actually stop the scroll. Creative is the bottleneck for most brands, not the ad platform like Meta or Google or TikTok, not the targeting, not the budget. If your content looks like everyone else's, or if it takes you 2 weeks to launch, it's already too late. And that's where AI comes in. It's not just about generating images, it's about speeding up how you can test, iterate, and scale. All right, so before I show you how I apply this across 3 different brands, here's a framework that I follow every time I build the content that converts. So step number 1, and I've wrote it out here and you can kind of see on the screen here. So step number 1 is to follow the content scaling strategy document. It is an outline for the content that we use, no matter if we are using AI or not. So I'm following the content scaling strategy document. Number 2 is I'm grabbing inspiration from Foreplay. And the goal with this whole video is that I'm literally just gonna walk you through exactly what I would do with everything. So I'm gonna pull up Foreplay, which is a library of ads that have ran for a long period of time or a short period of time, but have had good results. And I'm gonna use this as inspiration. The third thing that I'm gonna do though is understanding who the actual audience is. I do know who these audiences are already, and I will tell you that there's always a way to get better. I would go through these avatar documents. I'm not gonna go through them on this video. However, I would understand who my audience is, what the problem that I'm solving, so that I can get very granular when I'm giving that information to ChatGPT. Number 4, I'm gonna prompt for the results, and you'll see what my actual prompts are here. I'm gonna do that live, or at least show you what these look like live. And the whole goal with this is that you as a business owner can go from literally idea or concept to market extremely fast, save yourself time and money, and go and make your business more money. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is a boutique. And I gave it this information right here. I said, I'm gonna be getting ready to create some ads with Facebook for a clothing brand. Can you help me? Then it asked me, give me some more information about this brand, and I always like to prompt it this way anyway because it gives more context into what is happening here. So target audience, the main goal of the ad, any specific product details, preferred vibe, as they say, and text to include in the actual image. I didn't actually put any text in the image, but I did say this is who we are. So I picked brands at random, if you will, and then I grabbed a bigger brands a lot of times as inspiration, things that I have seen, and then I pulled them over here. So number 1, the target audience is 35 to 55 years old. Please do not say your audience is anybody and everybody, so you do want to be as specific and detailed as possible here. Number 2 is this ad is going to showcase our latest collection for the newest collection drop. It is a line called THML, so if you're in the boutique world, you probably know what that is. Number 3, it's asking any specific product. Yeah, it's the THML line. Number 4, that I want something that's clean and minimal. I'm gonna add some examples for them, and then there's no text on the images at all. It says, cool, this is great, show me the pose that you wanna mimic. I pulled off something from a brand out of Dallas, and it is a younger girl taking a selfie inside of the boutique. I love the style, it looks very natural. And then this is more of a, I wouldn't say it's not lifestyle, it's more of a product photography, if you will, for the website. So I was like, okay, good product photography, good UGC example, give me something here. I want to mimic this first one. So what's our first try? Still looks like a product shot, okay? The dress is also off a little bit, so gave it some more information and said, basically, this is good, let's first mimic the original pose. So they did that, put me inside of a boutique. They're still not doing a selfie, so I had to prompt it and say, okay, this is better. Is it possible for her to have an iPhone holding it in her hand, taking like a selfie in front of the mirror at the store? We get this, a little bit better. Don't know why the hiked foot is there completely. It's not exactly like the original one, so it's still not what I'm looking for. This was a little bit better. Dress starts to change a little bit. And then you can see the background of the boutique is basically they only sell warm colored clothes. So we didn't like that. I said it's better, but give me the boutique background with a little bit more realistic from like the first images. So got a little bit better there. And then a little bit better selfie, the hands down. You can't tell too much about the legs, so it's close. Here was our original inspiration versus, and this is like a 23, 25-year-old girl. And then we got down to, okay, what does this person look like? Yeah, they're probably in their 30s to 50s, and they're taking a selfie as well. And here we go. Not amazing, not 100% where we wanted to be, but 80%, and as you are creating ads, completely doable here. The only other thing I would say is, like, I did go back and I gave some example of, hey, that the details here were not as clean for the original dress, so I did clean that up and make sure that it matches the original dress. The other thing I want to do with this boutique is come up with some other examples of what's going on. And as I mentioned kind of at the beginning of this video, we're going to jump at Ads Manager, and I'm going to put all of these in there, the boutiques, the streetwear, and the fitness brand in one account. Normally I wouldn't do that because we would just do it for one brand, but I'm going to show you the setup as if I had this much creative to go off of. This is a shot that I found, I believe, from Free People. It could be a pink lily, and I like the background. I was not clear on exactly what to prompt here, so they basically just changed the background slightly, okay? And that's what we got here, so I messed up on that. I said, let's use the same dress as the original from our THML. This is for the same boutique, and put her in a different spot. Awesome. Okay, very clean, very specific, great lifestyle shot, exactly what I was looking for. So, moved on. I wanted to go back over here to the content scaling strategy document, and outside of finding your offer and the focus, which is not the point for this video, I have creative concepts. So I like befores and afters, I like features and benefits, I like an us versus them. I love us versus them, especially starting out with a new brand, because you want to anchor yourself to somebody bigger, and it just adds some notoriety, some association, builds the brand. So that's what I did, and I grabbed this, which is a medical brand of an us versus them. Didn't love it. For the example here, it doesn't matter as much. I just want to show you the power of what we can do with AI and what you can do of what's possible. It could be something from Poppy, it could be something from over here. We have a ton of examples, and I'll go through those here in a second, but it was an us versus them, and I thought, okay, let's mimic something here and let's see what we can do. The ChatGPT response said, hey, I love this direction. It's a boutique style ad. Love that this is going to help the brand, etc. And I told it, let's find out what are the benefits of our dress versus the competition. So the generic dress, so us versus them. And like I said, if I really wanted to call somebody out, I would call out the bigger people. I would call out the pink lily, the red dresses of the world, and do an us versus them completely. But for this video, I'm just showing how I would do it to get the ads to be able to run. So I said, are these good benefits, not features? I'm a person who likes to sell on benefits and back up with features versus selling on features and then going to something like a benefit. So benefits sell, and it told me the difference between the two of them. So I said the top 3 benefits and then the top 5 generics for the us versus them part. I said, yeah, this is very similar to the previous layout of THML dress. Okay, so they showed us this, and they gave us an option here. Cuts off down at the bottom, so I was like, 4 is also just not really what I would like to do. This is blue, this is blue. I didn't go back and forth with it on that part of it, but I did shorten down the us versus them, and we did the 2. I still don't think that was enough, so I went to the 3. I think this looks the best. So the THML, and instead of the us part, I would have just said our brand name versus whomever, the generic brand or the bigger brand. And so plain and on the line, sheer fabric, loose and shapeless. This is flattering and versatile. Now what I could do, and what I would suggest for you to do, is to go to the product description, and if you have a good product description with use case scenarios and adjectives, you could put that inside of ChatGPT and give that detail to them so that you would know the true us versus them. Okay, so it was good. I said, this is good, but let's try a different variation, like a different background, a different focal point to make sure it's better, or to make this a better us versus them, for it to pop. It gave me this, a little bit bigger text. This does look better. It still is using the same dress. The details here actually need to be, if I were responding, like for the detail part, this needs to be white petals, not green. 85–90% of what I wanted. I could have done a different example. I would have prompted it a couple of different ways, but essentially for right here, I just created an us versus them. I did a lifestyle shot, and then I did a little bit of UGC, all within probably about 10–15 minutes. The hardest part with all of this is just loading time, which I'm assuming will get better over time as well. Did you know the last Blockbuster store is still open in Bend, Oregon? That's commitment. And if you're committed to growing your clothing brand the smart way, And with better creative and faster execution, go ahead and hit that little like and subscribe button. I post breakdowns like this every single week, and alongside my business and partner Christian, we own Bit Branding, which is a marketing agency specifically to help you guys grow online. Christian's content is all about Shopify and the apps and the themes that you need to have for your brand. Mine is all marketing and strategy, messaging, and a little bit of AI that's going on with this as well, especially as this continues to grow. All right, so next up is a streetwear brand. This brand needs energy, grit, culture. The goal here is to make content that looks like it belongs in the feed, not a product catalog. All right, so what I did here was give it the same information that I did for the boutique, and then I used that to give some examples here. So number one, the brand name, the target audience, the main vibe, the goal, the product that we're trying to sell. So here's a brand name, 18 to 28 years old, interested in hip hop. They probably were wearing Jordans. They're interested in standing out, something that represents either a culture or maybe something that they enjoy, like i.e. music or sports, whatever that may be. So a little bit different. They're promoting a more new drop, and this one is a little bit more edgy. This says, let's get gritty with it. So ChatGPT is funny. I told it I was going to upload a product image and the background that we are going to mimic. So I have the brand that we are going to use, that I'm making this for, and then I have a product image that I saw, and I can't remember if it was on like Supreme or where it was. Again, most of these things I'm actually using through Foreplay, but for the intents and purposes of this video not being like 3 hours long of my research side of things, I am literally just grabbing the images and I'm showing you guys what I had prompted for this on a Saturday to do this. So here's the original image, okay, of the background that I wanted to keep. Did not know it at the time, but there's like some guy sitting back here, or actually a pretend guy sitting back here, which threw me off completely when I saw it in the AI. I was freaking out a little bit. And then this is the product photo, and I said, okay, let's create this. What did I actually say? Because this was not good. It said, the first picture is our background model. Please replace that model with an outfit wearing the product number 2, the hoodie. And I didn't give it a clear enough direction, so you get something like this where it's very dark and there's not a lot of details and it's not the background I said. I said, let's try this again. It seems to have stalled. Okay, I ran into an issue. You're probably going to run into that issue as well. It didn't replace the hoodie, ran into it again, and then I did get the background, so better background here. I would probably change this to be my brand name if I was doing this. This didn't actually look like the image that I gave it originally, although it's a cool design. I did respond back and say, please put this hoodie in the model, maybe add some color to the model's skin, because it was a super pale dude. He kind of looked like ghosty, and he also looked like a little bit creepy, honestly. It went completely different race on me here, which is fine. Then this background I felt like was good, a little bit better example of who this person is. The logo was still off a little bit, so I decided to tell it, okay, give me a little bit more information, got a better image. A couple of changes that I would make for this one though, make sure to size down the logo inside of the t-shirt or the hoodie. If I was going to do a flat lay, this is so much easier. I could change the background of it like absolutely no problem, but I'm looking for more of the lifestyle photo, and I did want to explain or exchange that background with one that I had previously. So I did like that background. It did look really cool. Couple of other things that I could do is add in variations of different backgrounds for this as well, but that's what I did for the streetwear brand. I feel like the flat lay stuff, pretty straightforward. You can change different colors, if you will, or textures, and probably be okay. But I really like the lifestyle photos. I think that's what's gonna help streetwear brands save money on shoots and a ton of time. So you can get your samples in, take a lot of good high quality photos from the product photos that need to go on your website, and then be able to take those images. You could grab a couple of models, take a couple of shots as well if you really needed to, and then we can just find different places in an urban area in Chicago or LA or New York or wherever it may be, and we can do a lot of different examples. So again, finding those types of things inside of Foreplay and then replacing them. And hey guys, but if you wanted access to this, so this is what the Foreplay board actually looks like. Let me pull it up over here. There are a bunch of images and videos inside of here, but if you want inspiration for your brand, you want examples, things that you can screenshot and walk through it so that you can put in ChatGPT for yourself and save yourself some time and money on it, just comment the word Foreplay down below and I will send you a link over to this. One thing that I will mention that I did not say in the very beginning is, like, on my computer, all I did was download and save screenshots. So I literally saved them, either took a screenshot of the background, and there's nothing fancy that I did. The higher the quality of the shot that you do or that you take, the better that it is going to be for the ChatGPT side of things. However, I've taken screenshots of things that were very small and put them on here, and you'll see it does a pretty good job. Okay, so this is a fitness brand, my brand name, as you know. These are the things that I need to know about. I could also go in more depth because I could use this whole, whether you're using ChatGPT 4.0 or not, or whether or not you are using the free version, which I think free technically you can do images with as well. But the cool thing is that I could go in more depth about who my audience is. I don't think it matters as much here as it does for the copy and for your website and the rest of the stuff that goes on. So this was a cool image. It did really well. I just searched for fitness brands or fitness clothing brands on Instagram and came across this. It had a ton of engagement, so I was like, let's recreate that. It tried to recreate that. I gave it a picture of the leggings that I wanted to show off, and it basically said it violates a policy because I'm guessing this person was showing a little bit too much skin potentially, and so I had to change that. So I tried to do a different variation of it. Still wouldn't let me. Still told me to give him patience. I uploaded the same pose again. Didn't work. So then I was like, okay, well, can we do this? And so I took a screenshot. I believe this was from Gymshark, and it's just inside of a home. And I was like, okay, let's replace our leggings with this one, similar background, and this is what it gave me. I noticed it changed the logo or the text on the socks. Nobody else would probably notice. Leggings match up pretty nicely. The girl, I would probably give some feedback. She looks like maybe potentially too young or quote unquote too perfect. We can make some changes there. But outside of that, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. Everything looks good with that. I told them that the socks just the right thing. This one was a little bit better. I think her eyebrows are more real as well, so that's helpful. And then I loved this one for the selfie, kind of the dual picture. I could do this myself, but I was just trying to see if I could mimic it. I put on the black leggings and, again, got the right logo on the socks. And then now we have a person in a bedroom taking a selfie, which is great. I try to have it split, and then I ran into this issue right here where it is still loading. That is the downside for the ChatGPT side of things, is that it is still loading. But I could re-prompt that again to get one that looks a little bit similar to this. It also helps, like I said, if you get a high quality images. I just literally took this from Gymshark's ad library. I didn't even go to Foreplay for this one because it wasn't loading on Saturday for me, so I had to grab something to recreate it for the rest of this video. Full transparency, and it still worked. I think this image is honestly probably one of the best. It's got the iPhone. I didn't even tell it to grab an iPhone, and looks legit. All right, before we jump into Ads Manager, I just wanted to say that if you are a clothing brand owner or want to jump into the specifics of your brand and jump on a free strategy call and find out why your brand is not growing or hitting the numbers that you should, you can check out the link in the description down below. Schedule a free call with us. Obviously, it is free, but obviously it is also limited to the spots that we have available. So make sure you go check out the link in the description down below. Okay, so over here to Ads Manager, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up, and like I said, I'm gonna download these as if it was one brand. I would not do this. Obviously, you should just do it for your brand. But for the amount of creative that we have, I just wanna make sure that we set this up correctly, because that's the title of this video, is how to use AI images to grow and scale your clothing brand. The goal of this video is to get ad results like this, where you're spending in the last 30 days $94,000 to make $338,000. This is what is possible when you are able to pump out creative and use AI. All right, so whether it's your first time inside of Ads Manager setting it up or your millionth, sometimes we need to be reminded more than we need to be told. So let's go ahead and hit create here. The number one objective is sales. Contrary to popular Facebook groups, which are absolutely crazy, that are suggesting to go for anything outside of purchases, please do not listen to them. If you're going for a purchase, please go get a purchase. The platform is not 2015. We've been running ads, or I've personally been running ads since 2014. It was much dumber then. It is extremely smart in this day and age. So if you want sales, it's gonna go find people who are likely to purchase. Go ahead and choose sales. hit continue. I'm still doing manual sales campaign. If you have a large budget, a ton of creative, and you're ready to absolutely scale this thing, then you could do the Advantage Plus. But what's gonna happen with Advantage Plus, you have implicit and explicit data or people. So implicit, if you have a large audience of people, it will find those people, it will go get sales, and it will use that to inform the explicit. If you don't have a ton of purchases, explicit is like all the people who are cold, less likely for them to make a purchase. And so if you don't have a ton of data, the first couple of days you'll get sales and then it will die out. Meta is getting better. I hear you. It will continue to get better. My theory or my thought process for this may change in the future, but right now it is a manual sales campaign. Go ahead and hit that continue button. You can label this as a new sales campaign. You can label this as prospecting. You can label this as conversions, whatever it may be, okay? There is a nomenclature that we use, and I would suggest, however, it is completely up to you. You do not need the Advantage Plus catalog ads because we're not running a catalog. We do want the campaign budget. They love the name Advantage Plus, but essentially all this means is that there is a campaign budget, there is an ad set, and then there are ads, and the campaign budget says that anything that's inside of those ad sets and ads, you can control the budget throughout. And so we do like to control the budget from the campaign level. Previously we did not. Probably 10 years ago I used to do it at the ad set level, and I despised CBO or campaign budget optimization. Pick a daily budget. For this example, I'm going to use $100 a day. You could start as little as like 30. Audience segmentations and reporting, audience segments. There's nothing that is defined there. I'm leaving it wide open. That is what we're going to talk about here on this ad set level. A lot of people suggest website and shop. I have still found better success from just website. The shop side of things, it's a little bit clunky, if you will. It's still kind of learning, and again, it's something you could test. This used to be called the pixel area. You just need to choose the actual data set. Make sure to choose your data, your pixel to go for conversions here, and then I'm going to go for the purchase event. Okay, you will not have the option to choose purchase if you don't choose sales on the previous screen. The ad set name, I'm going to call this broad. Then we're going to scroll on down, make sure to review everything. We'll keep everything in a 7-day click, 1-day view. Dynamic creative is technically going away. It's going to be called flexible. We're not doing anything with that right now. I'm going to upload these all as a flexible here shortly. It's the new what's replacing DCT. Placement's not really changing too much. I'm not going to import anything. All of this stuff I'm going to leave the same right now. The ad name, describing what it is, and then what category it is. So this is THML Dress 101. I'm going to scroll on down. You can see the ad preview. Like I said, I can do flexible. This show your ad in a format we predict to perform the best. Basically, you're giving a full control, and we have no idea on whether or not it is going to do well or not, but we do like the flexible. With flexible, though, I don't do multiple advertiser ads. Sometimes I do. Basically, just so you know for this, it says your ads can appear alongside other ads in the same ad unit to help people discover products and services from business that are personalized to them. Basically, can your ad show up against competitor's ad? And most of the time, I do turn this on. For this video, just keep everything clean, I'm gonna turn it off, and we're just gonna go off of single images or videos. What's cool about flexible is that Meta has the control to put it in different formats. It has different examples of creative, but because we only have images here and we have variations, and we have different types of brands, and I'm pretending that it's all one, I'm just gonna leave it as is, and you can run it a test like this as well. All right, so no matter what, I'm gonna suggest for you to go the flexible route, and we will upload our media here. Let me go ahead and download our examples. We would go back to our content scaling strategy document, and it's very simple for implementation here. Number one, we launch, which is what we're getting ready to do right now. Number two, we monitor for the next 2 to 4 days. Number three, kind of the days 5 to 7, we're going to review results and adjust. Not really any more complex than that, honestly. So I went ahead and uploaded all of the options we have here. There are 6. You could upload up to 10. If it is a individual concept, for example, it's the us versus them, I would upload 3 of the exact examples of us versus them, slight variations, different colors, what it would be, and that would be into one ad set. And then if it was the UGC style for one of these brands, then I would do a different ad set for that. But this is all this one ad set. I would upload the products here. You have primary text, headlines, descriptions. So it would have my information from my audience. It would have all the information that I've given it for the ads, and then I would ask it for the very specific copy. I want short and long form pieces of copy. Description you can put there. It doesn't really show up most of the time. Say, great, and then the URL. Send it to the product page unless you don't have very much of the stock. Then the collection page, and then you can preview everything. Make sure that it's going to show up correctly. All right, that looks good. Here's what mobile looks like. Change this to shop now. Offline events, website events, we're good there. If you have an app like CommentSold, you can do that. All right, if you have triple whale or tracking, or you're spending over $100 a day and you don't know why you're getting sales or where to check, or you're using flexible and don't know which ads are working, you can use a tool like triple whale, which tracks all of this. If you need triple whale, there is a link in the description down below. Check them out. I think you can use our code and you get like 15% off. That's only if you're spending like roughly about $100 a day or running ads on multiple places. So we are ready to roll. Look guys, AI won't replace a great strategy, but it will help you execute 5 times faster. And right now, speed is the biggest advantage that you have with your brand. If you are ready to scale and take this thing to the next level, and you want to know how we took this clothing brand from in 18 months from 0 to $2 million per year, make sure you go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all, we'll see you next time. And P.S., make sure you subscribe.